I grew up in a small town where everyone knew each other. The roads were narrow, the houses were close, and life moved slowly. We did not have big malls or tall buildings. We had one small school, one market, and many old trees. People spoke our local language every day. English was something we only saw in books. In my town, learning English was not important to many people. Most adults believed English was only for people in big cities. They said we can live well without English. I believed them at first. I never thought English would matter in my life. At school, English class was quiet and boring. Our teacher read from the textbook. We repeated the words together, like a song we did not understand. I was afraid to speak English. When I tried, my friends laughed. My voice shook, and my face felt hot. So I stayed silent. I was good at listening, but not at speaking. I could read simple words, but I did not know how to use them. The letters looked strange to me. The sounds were different from my language. English felt like a wall I could not climb. One day, a new teacher came to our school. Her name was Miss Sarah. She was young and always smiled. She spoke English clearly, but slowly. She did not shout. She did not laugh at mistakes. That was new for us. On her first day, she asked a simple question in English. "What is your name?" The class was silent. No one answered. We looked at the floor. Miss Sarah smiled and said, "It's okay. You can try." She pointed to me. My heart beat fast. My name is Lena," I said softly. She clapped her hands. "Very good, Lena." The class looked at me with surprise. No one laughed. That moment stayed in my heart. After that day, Miss Sarah changed our English class. We did not only read books. We talked about our town, our food, and our families. She told us it was okay to make mistakes. "Mistakes help you learn," she said. At home, I started to notice English words around me. On old boxes, on phones, on TV. I tried to read them. Sometimes I did not understand, but I did not give up. I wrote new words in a small notebook. My parents did not understand why I was so interested. They smiled and said, "Study well." That was all. I did not know it yet, but learning English would change my life slowly. It started in a small classroom, in a small town, with one kind teacher and one brave sentence. And this was only the beginning. After Miss Sarah came, English class became my favorite subject. I still felt shy, but I was no longer scared. Every day I learned something new. Even small words made me happy. Miss Sarah encouraged us to speak English every morning. She called it English time. It lasted only 10 minutes, but it felt special. During that time, we were not allowed to speak our local language. At first it was very hard. We used our hands, smiles, and broken sentences. When I made mistakes, my face turned red. But Miss Sarah never got angry. She corrected me kindly. "Try again," she said. Slowly, my words became clearer. At home, I practiced alone. I stood in front of the mirror and spoke English to myself. "Good morning. My name is Lena. I live in a small town." Sometimes I laughed at myself. Sometimes I felt proud. I did not have the internet. I did not have English movies. All I had was my textbook and my notebook. But I used them every day. My friends noticed my interest in English. Some teased me. "Why do you talk like that?" they asked. "Do you want to be a city girl?" Their words hurt me. For a moment, I wanted to stop. I wanted to be like everyone else. But something inside me said no. I remembered how Miss Sarah smiled when I spoke. That feeling was stronger than the teasing. One afternoon, Miss Sarah asked us to read a short English story in class. It was simple, but I was nervous. When it was my turn, my hands shook. My voice was low, but I read every word carefully. When I finished, the class clapped. I felt warm inside. That day I believed in myself a little more. Later, Miss Sarah gave me a small English book. It was old, and the pages were yellow. "Read this slowly," she said. 1 page a day. I took the book home like it was a treasure. Every night, I read 1 page. I did not understand everything, but I tried. I wrote new words and asked Miss Sarah the next day. English was no longer just a subject. It became a door to new ideas, new dreams, and a bigger world. Even in a small town, my world was growing. As time passed, English slowly became part of my daily life. I was not fluent, but I was improving. I could understand more than before. Simple sentences no longer scared me. One day, our school announced an English speaking competition. When I heard about it, my heart jumped. Then fear followed. Speaking English in front of many people felt impossible. Miss Sarah encouraged me to join. "You can do it," she said softly. I wanted to believe her, but doubts filled my mind. I thought about my accent, my grammar, my mistakes. I thought about people laughing. Still, I wrote my name on the list. Preparing for the competition was not easy. After school, I stayed in the classroom with Miss Sarah. She helped me write a short speech about my town. She told me to speak from my heart, not from fear. At home, I practiced every night. My parents watched quietly. They did not understand English, but they saw my effort. My mother smiled and brought me tea. That small support gave me strength. On the day of the competition, the school hall was full. Students stood in lines. My hands were cold. When my name was called, my legs felt weak. I walked to the front and looked at the crowd. I took a deep breath and began. "My name is Lena. I come from a small town." My voice trembled at first, but I continued. I talked about our quiet streets, kind people, and simple life. I made mistakes, but I did not stop. When I finished, there was silence, then applause. I did not win first place. I did not win second. But I won something more important. I won courage. After that day, my confidence grew. I started helping my classmates in English class. I shared my notes. I practiced with them. English was no longer something I learned alone. I also began dreaming differently. I imagined studying in a bigger town. I imagined talking to people from other countries. These dreams felt far away, but they felt possible. In my small town, nothing changed. The roads were still narrow. The houses were still close. But inside me, something had changed. English gave me a voice. As I grew older, I reached my final year in school. Life became more serious. People around me talked about work, money, and the future. Many of my friends planned to stay in the small town. They wanted simple lives, close to family. I felt different. I loved my town, but I wanted more. English had opened my mind. I wanted to study further. I wanted to see the world beyond our quiet streets. Miss Sarah noticed the change in me. One afternoon she called me after class. "You have potential," she said. "Don't stop learning." Her words stayed with me. But learning English was still hard. We did not have many resources. Sometimes, I felt stuck. I wanted to improve faster, but I did not know how. I saved small amounts of money and bought a second-hand English dictionary. It was heavy and old, but it became my best friend. Every new word felt like a step forward. I also started listening to English on the radio. The speakers talked fast. At first I understood nothing. I felt frustrated, but I listened every day. Slowly, familiar words appeared. Slowly, meaning followed. Some people in town did not understand my efforts. "Why try so hard?" they asked. "This is enough for us." Their words made me sad, but they did not stop me. I learned that not everyone will understand your dreams, and that is okay. When graduation day came, I stood in my uniform and looked at my school. I remembered the girl who was afraid to say her name in English. I was not that girl anymore. Before leaving, I visited Miss Sarah. I thanked her for believing in me when I did not believe in myself. She smiled and said, "Promise me you will keep learning." I promised. Leaving my small town was not easy. I packed my bag with clothes, books, and memories. As the bus moved away, I felt fear and excitement together. I did not know what waited for me. But I knew one thing. English would guide me forward. Life in the bigger town was very different. The streets were busy, people spoke fast. English was everywhere. On signs, in classrooms, in conversations. At first, I felt small and lost. I struggled. I did not always understand what people said. Sometimes, I answered wrongly. Sometimes, I stayed quiet. At night, I missed my small town. I missed the slow mornings and familiar faces, but I did not give up. Every day I reminded myself how far I had come. I remembered the girl who was afraid to speak one sentence. Now, I was living in a place where English was part of daily life. I practiced more than ever. I listened carefully. I asked questions. I made mistakes and learned from them. Each mistake made me stronger. One day someone asked me, "Where did you learn English?" I smiled and said, "In a small town." They looked surprised, but I felt proud. English did not change who I was. It did not take away my roots. It only gave me more ways to express myself. I could share my story. I could understand others. I could dream bigger. When I went back to my small town, everything looked the same. The narrow roads, the old school, the quiet life. But I was different. I visited my old classroom. I stood where I once stood in fear. I remembered Miss Sarah's voice. I remembered my first sentence. Now, I wanted to give back. I helped younger students. I told them, "You can learn English too. It does not matter where you come from. Because learning English is not about where you start. It is about believing you can grow. And even in the smallest town, big dreams can begin."